My name is Mia, and if you had told me a year ago that my heart would be a battleground for such intense, conflicting emotions, I would have laughed. I'm 27, living in a bustling city where the pace never slows, and the night is just as alive as the day. By day, I'm a digital marketing strategist navigating the complex web of online trends and campaigns. By night? Well, that's where my story complicates. I've always believed in the concept of soulmates, that there's someone for everyone. What I didn't account for was the possibility of feeling a soulmate-level connection with more than one person simultaneously. It sounds like the plot of a cliched romantic novel, but this is my reality, my very complicated, very real life. It began with Alex. We met at a coffee shop, our hands reaching for the same last slice of banana bread. It was a meet-cute straight out of a movie, complete with awkward laughter and blushes. Alex was everything I thought I wanted in a partner, charming, witty, with a smile that could light up the darkest days. Our relationship blossomed quickly, filled with passion and the kind of love I'd only read about in books. He was my rock, my confidant, my everything. Then came Jamie. Jamie was unlike anyone I'd ever met, mysterious, with an intensity that drew me in like a moth to a flame. We crossed paths in a professional setting, working on a project together. The late nights at the office turned into dinners, then into something more. With Jamie, I felt a different kind of connection, something deeper, more intellectual, and just as consuming as what I felt with Alex. Balancing these relationships was never my intention. Each started at a different point in my life, and before I knew it, they overlapped, entwined in a way that left me torn. With Alex, life was laughter and light, effortless and serene. With Jamie, it was passionate debates and a connection that challenged me to grow in ways I never expected. Each day was a dance, a delicate act of balancing my time, my emotions, and my presence between them. Guilt gnawed at me constantly. The secrecy was suffocating, but the thought of choosing was paralyzing. I loved them both, each in a profoundly unique way, but the deception was wearing on me. The breaking point came unexpectedly. A mutual friend's party, one I thought Alex wouldn't attend because of a work trip. But there he was, as Jamie decided it was the perfect moment to surprise me. The world stopped as they both approached me, smiles on their faces, unaware of the storm about to break. Standing there, caught between Alex's warmth and Jamie's intensity, I realized the depth of the mess I'd created. The hurt that was about to unfold was inevitable, a hurt that would shatter the delicate balance I'd maintained. It was the moment of truth, the second before everything came crashing down. In that frozen slice of time, I understood the gravity of my choices and the pain they were bound to cause. The journey ahead was uncertain, fraught with the fallout of my actions and the difficult conversations that lay ahead. But it was a path I needed to tread, armed with nothing but honesty and the hope of forgiveness. The silence that enveloped us was thick, a tangible entity in its own right. Alex's eyes, usually so full of mirth, searched mine for an explanation, while Jamie's gaze, always so intense, seemed to pierce through the facade I'd carefully maintained. In that moment, stripped of any pretense, the weight of my actions bore down on me with crushing force. I need to explain, I began, my voice barely above a whisper, but was cut off by the sudden clamor around us. A distraction, mundane and yet so fortuitously timed, pulled their attention away momentarily. It gave me a second to breathe, to collect my scattered thoughts, but it was also a piercing reminder of the reality I faced, a reality where I couldn't hide forever. As the party resumed its lively buzz, a stark contrast to the storm brewing within me, I realized that the time for secrets had passed. The truth, however daunting, was the only path forward. I gestured for Alex and Jamie to follow me to a quieter spot, my heart hammering against my ribs with each step. Under the dim lights of the secluded patio, I told them everything. About how my heart had unwittingly entangled itself with two souls, about the joy and the growth they'd each brought into my life, and about the unbearable guilt that shadowed my every step. The confession, raw and unfiltered, left me feeling exposed, vulnerable in a way I'd never been. Alex, always the embodiment of kindness, listened in silence, his expression unreadable. When I finished, he took a deep breath, his hand running through his hair, a gesture of frustration I'd come to recognize. I wish you had trusted me enough to tell me sooner, he said, his voice laced with a sadness that cut deeper than anger would have. Jamie's reaction was less predictable, a complex mix of emotions flitting across his face. I can't say I understand, he admitted, but I appreciate your honesty. His response, guarded yet sincere, offered a glimmer of hope in the gloom that had settled over me. The rest of the evening passed in a blur, a surreal procession of apologies and goodbyes. Alex left first, his parting words a promise to talk more when the dust had settled. Jamie stayed a while longer, our conversation a tentative exploration of the uncertain ground between us. Returning home, the silence of my apartment was a stark reminder of the solitude that might soon become my new reality. The night stretched on, a canvas painted with reflections on love, truth, and the courage it takes to face the consequences of one's actions. Lying awake, I replayed the evening over and over, each iteration a search for some sign of what the future held. The duality of relief and regret was a strange companion, leaving me to wonder if the truth, however freeing, was worth the pain it caused. As dawn painted the sky with strokes of pink and orange, a decision formed amidst the tumult of my thoughts. No matter the outcome, no matter the bridges burned or the paths forever altered, I resolved to face the coming days with integrity. The journey to mend the fractures, both within my heart and in my relationships, would be long and fraught with challenges. But it was a journey I was now ready to embark on, armed with a newfound understanding of the complexities of the human heart. As the first light of dawn gave way to the clear light of day, I found myself at the crossroads of introspection and action. The world outside my window bustled to life, indifferent to the turmoil that had kept me awake through the night. It was a poignant reminder of life's relentless march forward, regardless of individual crises. Today, like every day, demanded choices to be made, actions to be taken. I started the day with a resolve to face the consequences of my actions head-on. The first step was the hardest, reaching out to Alex and Jamie individually to request a meeting, a chance to talk things through more thoroughly. Alex agreed with a quiet solemnity that was almost worse than anger, while Jamie's acceptance was tinged with an unreadable curiosity. The meetings were set, the dice cast. Now all I could do was wait. The hours until those meetings were some of the longest in my life. I busied myself with work, with cleaning, with anything that could momentarily distract me from the churning anxiety. Yet in the silent moments between tasks I found my thoughts drifting to Alex and Jamie. I remembered the laughter and comfort I shared with Alex, the stimulating debates and passionate moments with Jamie. Each memory was bittersweet, tinged with regret for the pain I'd caused. Meeting Alex was like stepping into a room where the air was thick with everything unsaid. He listened as I spoke, really listened, in that way that had always made me feel seen. I apologized, not just for the deception, but for the hurt, for the trust I'd shattered. I don't know if I can get past this, he admitted, his voice breaking the last barrier I had hoped we could overcome. But I don't regret loving you. His forgiveness was a gift, one I accepted with a heavy heart, knowing our paths were diverging. Jamie's reaction was different, less about the pain and more about understanding the why. People are complex, he said after a long conversation that meandered through our shared memories, our connection, and the deception that had brought us to this juncture. I'm not saying it's okay, but I get it. You're searching for something. Maybe I am too. There was no clear resolution with Jamie, just an acknowledgement of our shared humanity and the unknown roads ahead. The day ended with me alone once again, the setting sun casting long shadows in my apartment. The meetings had been cathartic, each in their own way, offering closure and a glimpse into the future, a future where I could learn from my mistakes, where I could be better. In the silence of my apartment, I made a promise to myself. To live more authentically, to make choices that reflected not just my desires, but my values. The journey ahead would be one of self-discovery, of learning to love myself as wholly and fiercely as I had loved others. As I penned down these reflections, turning my tumultuous thoughts into coherent words, I realized this was just the beginning. Life, with all its complexities and challenges, awaited. And I was ready to meet it head-on with an open heart and a clear conscience.
Hey, you made it to the end. Please consider subscribing and giving a like if you enjoyed and want more. Also leave a comment about what you thought of the story. Till next time, thanks for watching.